Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Carl Mishka. I live at 5025 Clubhouse Drive. I relocated here in 2006 from Newport Beach, California. I love this city, as do all of you, and I believe 99% of the people behind me. I have in my office a pen-and-ink drawing of the way Newport looked before the waterfront was developed, when the shipyards were there. And the ladies of the night, as I understand, plied their trade, and I understand it was a dangerous area to be. The vision of Swiss Bear and many people in this room have increased the livability of Newport and made it so that people who left here are coming back. My concern about this number 11 agenda item, and I've got so many notes I don't know where to start, and I don't want to repeat what's already been said. My concern is transparency. My concern is the city attorney saying we have a romance going on. We're entering into an engagement. I think that we should still have the bride and groom meet the other's parents and families. And I think perhaps the best way to do that is to have more open forums. We're entering into an election period. Time is becoming precious. I appreciate the developers' willingness to invest more money than I have or you have in this city. However, they have an ulterior motive also, and that's profit. I was pleased to hear said this evening that the title to the Elks building transferred from the city or whoever owned it to the developer on January 1st. Is that correct?
Yes.
They now own the building. The first time I looked at downtown from a development point of view was during the Talbot building discussion. A number of us met in the third floor Captain Raddick's. I met some of the city leaders at that point in time, those who were being discussed. That was totally rebuffed by the citizens. Switching gear for a second, last Friday, the state Supreme Court issued a ruling, late Friday, which normally comes out of courts when they know that the people won't be happy with their rulings. They came out with a ruling about redistricting. The Chief Justice, who is beloved, I think, in this city, Paul Newby, in his dissent stated, the Supreme Court has usurped the will of the people. The majority of the court has ruled, and I repeat, has usurped the will of the people. I would ask that this body please be very cognizant of the will of the people that you serve and who elect you. Thank you for your time.
My name is Kevin Roberts. I am not a resident of the city of Newport. I live outside the city limits, but I spend most of my days and a good many of my nights at 316 South Front Street. I'm the director of your Chamber of Commerce. My comments are not real well prepared, but I'll keep them brief, and it's just a couple of points that I'd like to make. Last summer, a gentleman found himself in our market and he fell in love with it. Like many of us, I fell in love because I was born here, but a good many of you, you just found yourself here for one reason or another and you fell in love with it. Whether it was, he was here by accident, purely by accident. We see people, I look at meet people all the time who come to this market and they fall in love with it. The difference with this guy is he's got means. The difference with this guy is he wants to come here and spend money. He wants to create jobs for our citizens. He wants to create tax revenue for the city. He wants to invest over $100 million in this city that he loves. Regardless of anything else that happens and all the hard feelings that are being thrown around about this thing, we must be proud of the fact that this guy fell in love with this market and wants to spend $100 million here. That's what he wants to do. And the other difference is we can check everything that he's doing. We can go to cities where he's developed other properties and we can find out whether he did what he said he was going to do. Did he do all of it? Did he do more than he said he was going to do? How good a business person was he to deal with? This is not just your average guy. Second point, everybody knows I love a conversation. I'll talk a hole through a wall if you let me. They're easy, they're safe. You can talk about things with people, and then you can just walk away. It's nice. I think there's a lot that comes out of that. I've read this MOU, and I encourage, if you've not read this thing, you must read this thing, because for all the legal jargon that's in it, at the end, you get to walk away if you want to. You don't even really have to say why. You can just decide to, Mr. Davis, is that not right? Yes. At the end of the day, for all the whereases and wherefores and all the legal jargon, it's a conversation. This man just wants to have a conversation with you people, and with input, and this is good input. Surely everybody in this room understands that you're talking about sacred property when you talk about Union Point. But it's a conversation. And there's a lot more unknowns about that Union Point project today than there are knowns. And at any point when one of those unknowns does not make you happy, you walk away, no harm, no foul. And my last point, a good many of you, you pay staff to do it. A good many of the people in this room, we spend our days going to meetings during the morning, during the night, all day, meeting after meeting, talking about tax revenue for this city. Talking about creating economic gains for this market. And talking about creating jobs, good paying jobs, good paying. We talk about it. We talk it to death. And what I wonder, if you don't agree to have this conversation with this man, which means you've got to approve that MOU, how will we ever look at one another again over a table or a cup of coffee and seriously say that we're talking about economic gains and economic benefit, jobs for our citizens, if we refuse to even have a conversation with this man about it? That's all I have. I thank you for your time.
Good evening. I'm Mayor Outlaw, members of the Board of Alderman, and City officials. My name is Melissa Grable. I'm the Executive Director of the Craven County Tourism Development Authority. The TDA serves to promote and develop Craven County as a travel destination. Our functions of the authority include facilitating the works of local groups and attracting conventions, tour groups, and leisure travelers to Craven County. One of our core missions is to promote conventions aimed at increasing occupancy rates and the development and utilization of local lodging options. That said, our current and most critical need to facilitate our convention and group market is a full-service convention hotel. Traditional large conventions require hotels with 120 to 150 hotel rooms or more. In Craven County, our current hotel inventory cannot accommodate those needs. The lack of a convention hotel negatively affects our group business in Craven County and places a challenge on the marketing and promotion of the New Bern Riverfront Convention Center, the History Center, and other meetings in our venue, or other venues in our market, excuse me. Group and convention business in Craven County has accounted for more than $1 million annually. This year alone, we have lost a total of $618,607 in group business due to a lack of hotel accommodations. This is a negative impact, not just directly to hotels, but to restaurants, retailers, attractions, and other small businesses in our area. The TDA also places tremendous value on public parks and outdoor assets, especially Union Point Park. It is not just enjoyed by tourists, but by our entire community. The Kessler Group are developers who understand the importance of community collaboration and are not interested in hindering or destroying skylines, natural beauty, or public assets. They embrace all of these sentiments and have a body of work that exemplifies this. I've had the opportunity to not only research the Kessler collection, but to tour with the authority of my board, their work at the beautiful Savannah Riverfront. Not only do they elevate the appeal and the charm of that district, but through public-private partnerships created new green space and public assets that the community utilizes daily. During the time spent with that group, they learned from myself, as well as Swiss Bear and city leadership, the passion and love our locals feel for our entire downtown district, as well as the city as a whole. To foster continued growth and prosperity for New Bern, the TDA would like to offer our support for the MOU, outlining the 3 projects to begin thoughtful and strategic discussions on how we can work with these visionaries to create new opportunities for New Bern. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.